Have you ever witnessed a hero dragged into the spotlight not for glory, but for judgment? The sound of chains echoed through the courtroom, sharp and humiliating, as Commander Alexandra Hayes, once celebrated as a decorated Navy SEAL and master sniper, stood bound before those who had already condemned her. The cuffs bit into her wrists, but she didn't resist. She didn't need to. Her silence was louder than their accusations. Charges, the bailiff's voice rang. Disobedience. Violation of protocol. Unauthorized engagement. The words pierced the air like bullets, yet not one pair of eyes dared to meet hers. Not the prosecutors, not the juries, not even her former commanding officer, now shrinking into shame at the back. To them, she was guilty. To her, she was unfinished. Cameras had flashed when they dragged her through the front doors, no courtesy of a side entrance, reducing a war hero to spectacle. Whispers rippled like thunder through the gallery. A ghost of the battlefield, now paraded as a criminal. Not one soul had asked why. Not one cared about the truth that burned behind her silence. She remembered that mission as if it had carved itself into her bones. 30 civilians moments from slaughter. The order was to stand down. But standing down meant letting them die. 3 pulls of the trigger. 3 enemies erased. 30 innocent lives saved. And for that, they shackled her. For that, they branded her disloyal. Yet the weight of a decade of service still pressed against her ribs, the desert's blistering heat, the tang of blood, the gun oil lingering on her gloves. These weren't memories, they were scars, each one stitched shut with resolve. And still, the prosecutor droned on, accusing her of betrayal, of compromise, of reckless defiance. Then, the doors opened. A shift in the air, subtle but undeniable. Measured footsteps cut through the silence, pulling every head toward the entrance. Admiral Robert Grayson entered, his uniform glistening with the weight of wars survived, his presence so heavy the oxygen seemed to collapse around him. No one expected him. No one dared breathe as he spoke. "Remove those handcuffs." The guards froze. A heartbeat passed. His voice sharpened, steel slicing through ice. "I said, remove them." The keys clattered, the cuffs fell, and Alexandra flexed her raw wrists, the red imprints proof of her trial. "Admiral, this is highly irregular," the prosecutor stammered. Grayson's reply was thunder. "Irregular is dishonoring the finest sniper this Navy has ever seen. She disobeyed, yes, but she did it to save lives. She didn't compromise the chain of command. She reminded it what it is supposed to stand for." The weight of his words bent the room itself. Alexandra stood in silence, her stillness sharper than any blade. And then, the tide shifted. One cadet rose. Then another. Veterans, officers, civilians. One by one they stood, not speaking, not cheering, but saluting in reverence. It wasn't her voice that freed her. It was her history, her sacrifice, and the courage of those who finally chose to remember. As the Admiral passed her, his voice dropped, cutting through the marrow of the room. "Silence isn't weakness. It's the language of those who have nothing left to prove. No headline would ever capture it. No medal would repair what had been broken." But honor, that day, returned to Alexandra Hayes, the woman who stood alone until others finally remembered what it meant to stand with her.